Hello, hello, and welcome to Be Bold Out Loud. I am Dr. Michelle. I am your transformation strategist, and we assist professional women to be bold, to break through their obstacles so they can lead in their destiny. We do that by helping them reconnect with their true self, by rediscovering purpose and passion, realigning with values and strengths, and doing a reset so they can move from where they are to where they want to be with authentic confidence. And on Be Bold Out Loud, we are going to endeavor to help you let your voice be heard, to come out of false confidence and show up as your true self. And as you do that, as you become bold, people will become better because you are stepping into your greatness. So I am so excited because my first guest on Be Bold Out Loud is Dr. Kathyrn Tapper, better known as Dr. K-Tap. So let me bring Dr. K-Tap to the room and let's get our conversation started. Welcome, Dr. K-Tap.
Good morning, Dr. Michelle. It's so great to be here. Thank you for inviting me on this platform.
I am so honored to have you. And I just want to read your bio because you are an amazing woman. And we are going to hear your story of how you have broken through some obstacles. But let me share with the audience who you are, and then we'll move forward from there. So, Dr. Kathyrn Tapper, aka Dr. K Tap, is the founder and CEO of Glow Coaching. She is a Mayo Clinic trained, board certified family medicine physician turned holistic health and wellness expert. She is the author of the upcoming book, You Are Greater Than Your Diagnosis 10 Steps to Glow Up in Life from the Transformational Story of a Doctor's Journey as a Patient. Dr. K-Tap has guided many women in the space of health and wellness to regain control of their health so that they can thrive within their mind, body, and spirit in order to truly flourish in life. She has over a decade of experience in holistic health and wellness, both from a professional perspective as well as from her personal experience as a thriving chronic illness patient for 20 years. And that is one of the key things that we need to know is that we have the capacity to break through. And Dr. K-Tap, you are a perfect example. So I just want to hear from you. What has it been like to break through the obstacle of chronic illness and to move to the space where you are now assisting other people to work on their health and their wellness?
Dr. Michelle, that is a big question, but such an important question to really ask because a lot of people, especially when they have a diagnosis, feel powerless and feel overwhelmed, don't know which way to turn. They feel like they've lost control of their body, and this illness, this diagnosis has just taken over their body, has taken over their lives. Things just completely drastically change, right? And so, one of the things that I learned, because I was diagnosed when I was 19, right? I was in college. And one of the things that I quickly learned was that I had to trust. Trust is a big, big part of who I am, what I do, and how I serve other people. And if you're not able to really and truly trust yourself, trust your inner guide, trust that higher power, trust the process,
Mhm.
then you're going to be fighting up against so many things. It's an uphill battle, right? And when you're trusting, you're allowing, you're letting things happen. You're doing things, but you also understand that you don't have to struggle when you're doing the do.
Yes, yes. I love how you said when you're trusting, you're allowing. And I
Mhm.
know so many of our listeners, there's something stirring in them. I believe that.
Mhm.
And instead of allowing that process to happen, I think sometimes we want so much control. We want to fix it. We want to make it happen. And
Mhm.
we just need to let it go and release it. And for you, that diagnosis almost pushed you to that point, didn't it? Where you just had to release it because you had no control
Absolutely.
over
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I was already on that path,
it.
but this was telling me you need to really go a step or two or three further and
Mhm.
trust and allow on a different level. And what I realized, it may sound counterintuitive, but with that trust and the letting go, you realize how much more control your life is in.
Wow. Wow. That's so powerful. And I think that sometimes we try to control to the point that we miss opportunities. And
Yes.
when I think about being bold out loud and breaking through those obstacles, one of those is letting go and releasing so that we don't miss what is ahead of us and what's out
Mm.
there for us. And one of the big things that keeps us there is fear.
Yes, 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 yes. It's true. We can stay stuck in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and when I think about breaking through obstacles, I talk about three things. I talk about making sure that you are truthful, that you're
Mm,
honest about what has happened, what is happening. The second thing I say is that you have to be transparent, because it's one thing to be truthful and say this happened, but
mhm.
it's another thing to be transparent and say the whole story.
Mm,
Sometimes we want to just tell enough so it doesn't make us look bad, but it
mm,
we told it. So it's not just truth, but it's also transparency in
mhm.
that truth.
I
And
love that.
then really staying the course, because when you start down that road, when you start down that road of healing, it gets hard and it's easy to say, nope, it's too hard. I don't want to do it. What are your thoughts about that? And how does that or has that fit into your own story?
Wow. It's one of those things that when you know something, you cannot unknow it. You cannot
Right,
you
right.
know it, right? And you know it for a reason, right? And the journey that we are all on, we that road has different bumps and turns and potholes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And hills and valleys and curves, but they're there for us to learn and to grow and to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
there for a reason. There's a reason why I'm having my own challenges and you're having your own challenges.
Mm-hmm.
They're different, but it's for the same ultimate reason of growth and evolution and expansion.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are aware of that simple truth, then you know that it is for a purpose and it's ultimately going to be for your divine plan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And don't get stuck in the problem itself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. You said growth and expansion. And and really that plan, that purpose that we have, we will never get there if we just stay right where we are.
Mhm.
Like it's really just like a child. Like they have to develop, right? They have
Right.
to grow there, and there's nothing that's going to stop that. They're going to grow, right? And
Mhm.
so we have to take, from my perspective, we have to take that same idea as
Mhm.
it relates to moving towards our purpose. We're going to grow if we allow it. We're going to develop if we allow it. And the really if you think about it, the only thing that keeps us stuck sometimes is us. is
Absolutely.
yeah, is we're in our own way. We're
Mm-hmm.
in our own way.
Mm-hmm. And our
Um,
brain is there to protect us, right?
mhm, mhm,
It's there to protect us. So that's why these things keep coming up, because we want to stay safe,
yeah,
even if it's not for our own good.
yeah,
Our
yes,
brain is there to make us safe, but we have to realize that and step out of that.
mhm,
And I want to bring up something, as you mentioned, children, as they grow, they're not growing alone. And I think that is something so important for us to realize, is that we don't have to do the things that we're doing by ourselves.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I think both of us, as we are endeavoring to assist people and to help people, we're coming alongside. And that's what we're desiring to do, is to walk alongside people. And I always say, and we've all heard this before, no man is an island. You will not grow beyond where you are without help. And just like children need their parents for growth, they
Mhm.
need somebody to help them walk through. We cannot do this alone. And so that's why I think it's so important, especially as you talk about holistic health and wellness and having walked that journey, that and having even the training that you have and the expertise that you have. We have to be okay with people knowing more than we know.
Mhm.
We have to be okay with people, that God gave certain people certain expertise, and that there are some divine connections. So there are some people that we need to encounter, we're supposed to encounter, and that they're there to help us up along the way instead of us just kind of remaining in that cycle of defeat. So, as you have worked with people to help them up to that next level, what's been, I guess, what's been the attitude, or what's been the area of growth that you've seen in people as they've allowed you to help them walk this journey?
It's so beautiful to see at the end of the coaching program how much more confident they feel, how much more comfortable they feel within themselves,
Mm-hmm,
mind, body, and spirit. And when that takes place, they are able to go out and have a more meaningful life,
mm-hmm,
right? They're
mm-hmm,
more connected with their purpose. They want to travel more. They want to give back to the community more. So it's not just about health in terms of physical health and mental health, but spiritual health, relational health, environmental health, occupational health, everything comes together, and their spirits are lifted. They just feel more empowered. And that's one of the goals within my program, is you have the control to do the things that you want to do. You may not have control over the things around you, but what do you have control over?
mm-hmm,
You. How you feel, how you think, how you act, how you respond, not react, but how you respond, and
mm-hmm,
how you go forth in this life.
mm-hmm. That's a beautiful testimony. And it reminds me of what you said in the very beginning of allowing the process and
Mm-hmm.
seeing what happens when you allow the process and don't get in your own way. And I do understand, wanting to, have safety and security and feel safe. And yet, when we trust, as you were saying, there's so much more beyond what we, have in our mind,
Yes.
and those limiting beliefs,
Mhm.
right? The ways that we limit ourselves because we're afraid of what is on the other side. And yet, what your clients are finding, I know what my clients have found, is that on the other side is like, wow, why didn't I do this sooner? Why
Right.
didn't I trust the process more? And that's really, when I talk about being bold out loud, The out loud part isn't being boisterous and loud. The out loud part is living out loud and
Mm.
allowing those things in your life, everything in you to come forth so that you are fully walking in your purpose. It's unfortunate, but I feel like so many people miss their purpose. They miss their opportunity because they can be so closed off and so afraid. Um,
Can I say
the
something really quickly?
Please
I just
do.
want to highlight what you said earlier and a while ago is the missing of opportunities.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
It is so, if we really step back, and this is something that I think we, just as a community, don't do enough, is reflection.
Hmm. Hmm.
Reflection and reassessment to say, hey, what is working well for me right now?
Right.
What is not working well, and how can I change things, or how can I change so that the things within my experience changes as well,
Yes.
right? Because we want to, we all want happiness, we all want freedom,
Mhm.
these basic things that we all want, but are we taking the necessary steps in order to get there, or is it just um a wish and that's it?
Right, right. Too many times we live on a hope, right? Oh, I hope that this works
Mhm,
out, but we never take the tangible steps for it to work out. Absolutely.
mhm,
Opportunities that
mhm,
are missed.
mhm, mhm.
And when we break through those obstacles to lead, what is, when you think about leading your life, what does that mean for you?
Mm. It goes back to what we were saying before about allowing and trusting. It really goes back to that. Why? Because as spiritual beings, right,
Mm-hmm.
having a human experience,
Mm-hmm.
in order for me to lead my life, I'm actually allowing God to lead my life for me and through me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it goes back to that trusting and allowing and knowing that there's a higher purpose
Mm-hmm.
and a reason for me to be here. And something that's so important that keeps coming back, especially now for me, is that it's not about me.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that allows me to allow,
Mhm, mhm.
right? It
Absolutely.
allows me to say, okay, I need to step back, especially if things are not working in the way that I think, right? Goes back to the small ego I, right? About what I think should be happening. I need to step back and say, okay, how can I be led? Am I supposed to be led in this direction? If not, what is the next direction that I need to take?
Right. Right.
Right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Right. Because when we think about it, and I love how you said it's not about me. When we get in that space, and I think I can speak for both of us when I say this, when we get in that space of serving others, there's so much more fulfillment for us. There's so much more growth for us.
Mm-hmm.
um, we begin to trust more, especially when we begin to see the results and people growing in their confidence, growing in their desire to walk out their purpose. So, really, when we get outside of ourselves and we do serve in that way, that's really the reward for the work that we do
Absolutely.
and the direction for the purpose that God's already planned out for us. I always say that there's a purpose, there's a reason that God has designed and created you, created and designed, right? He
Mhm.
created you, He designed you in a specific way. He gave you a certain personality, He gave you a certain way of thinking, He gave you a certain way of encouraging. I mean, there's certain ways that He designed you, and I love how intricate He is because He designed you to connect with somebody else that needs your design, and you may even need their design. And
Yes.
so it's just, it's a beautiful thing when we move past all of the junk, right? The fear, the limiting beliefs, and we really take the lead in our lives. And we, by taking the lead, we really step back. and we serve, and we
Mm.
allow God to use us for the betterment of other people. And in the process, He's so good. He helps us to be better too, right?
Absolutely,
He helps us to be
absolutely.
better. And so the last part that I talk about, of course, is destiny. Like, what's ahead for us? What is your destiny? And I give this example of, like, when you were a kid and you were the line leader, right? And all the other kids had to get behind you. Those are the obstacles. They all had to get behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And as being the line leader, you have a clear vision to see what's ahead of you. Now,
Mm.
there's still some steps to take to get there, right? But
Right.
for me, that's destiny. That
Mm-hmm.
everything is cleared out of the way and I can see what's ahead of me. And even there's something beyond what I can see, but at least there's something I can see ahead of me. And that's the destiny. That's what God has intended for me. What are your thoughts about that, Dr. K Tap?
I love that example. I love that example. And as you were talking, and you're saying that you're at the front of the line and you can see what's ahead. I want people to understand it's not just a visual seeing, but it's also a deeper knowing,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
right? It's
Right.
both. You can see the vision, but the vision came to you because of a deeper knowingness within you,
Yes.
right? That vision came from somewhere and that came from within you.
Mm-hmm.
So I may speak for everyone here, but just remember a time when you just had this deep knowingness about something. You did not know all the steps that needed to be taken in order to get to that place that we're going to call destiny right now,
Right.
but you just knew that that was what was going to happen. And you just had to stay connected
Yes. Yes.
and allow and trust the process in order to get there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it.
It's beautiful.
Yes, I love it. Yeah. Trust in the process to get there. And I'm so excited for people that are willing to do that.
Yes.
Willing, because that knowing,
Hmm.
I think many times we can walk around, women, I'm going to say particularly, can walk around with the baby in their belly. There's something there and they feel it, and they just keep going about day by day by day, and they feel that they have that knowing, but they're not willing or too afraid to step out on it. And that knowing is, like you said, it's their destiny. It is what they are designed and created for. And yet something holds them back. And that's why this is so important. That's why breaking through those obstacles is so important, because there are people waiting on you. There are people waiting on you. There are people waiting on what's in your belly, what's
Mhm.
there. And we cannot, I will just say, we cannot sit on the giftings that, God has placed in us, and that
Ab-
knowing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that you brought that up because we live in a society where we are not taught to listen to our belly, let's say,
Yes.
our gut, our intuition. We are not, we are not, we're not promoted to do that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We are focused on, all of these external things, and there's so many of them that we can get overwhelmed, and
Absolutely.
that in and of itself can keep us stuck because
Mm-hmm.
we're like, okay, we don't really know which way to turn. There's just so many different ways to turn
Mm-hmm.
that I
Mm-hmm.
don't know which one to choose.
Yes.
And the reason for that, one of, is because we're looking outside of ourselves more than we're looking inside of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's great wisdom. That is great wisdom. Yes. So you and we're advocating, listen to your belly. Listen to your gut, that knowing that is there.
Yes.
so that you can step outside and do and be all that God's created you to be. There are people waiting for you.
Yes.
Yes. Dr. K Tab, is there anything just in closing that you want to share with our audience? And then I also want you to share how they can get in touch with you as well.
I would say that, our conversation about, trusting and allowing, it's easier said than done. We
Mhm.
all know this, facing the fear, all of that. It's easier said than done. But what I would say is, in order to trust and to allow more, you have to find that connection within you.
Yes.
And in order to find that connection and listen to your gut, listen to your belly more,
Hmm.
you have to get rid of that noise.
So
The
good.
noise in here, the noise around you.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
what does that take? That takes stepping away from the external noise, right? And going to a quiet space, and also going to a quiet space of mind,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And so that may look like prayer for some, that may look like meditation for some, that may look like deep breathing. But whatever it is that keeps you connected, whatever practice that is, continue to practice that. And within that practice, you'll feel that connection more. And within that connection, you're able to trust and allow more because you
Hmm.
know it's not about you.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
coming full circle with everything.
I love that. That is so, so good. I love that. So, Dr. K Tab, how can they get in touch with you if they want to reach you?
So I try to make it as simple as possible. Just my name, drktap.com. Dr. K Tap on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, just everywhere. And that's DRKTAP. All
Wow.
right.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for just the wisdom that you have shared with us today. And I've grown. I've grown just in this conversation. And I just appreciate Dr. K Tap so much. She's a good friend, but she also helps me. We iron sharpens iron. So I feel like we help one another. And
Absolutely.
I love that. So you have been watching Be Bold Out Loud. If this is resonating with you, if you're ready to step away from the fear and really connect with what's in your gut, what's in your belly, I really want you to reach out to me to break through those obstacles, to be able to lead in your destiny. Reach out to me at www.drmichellewells.com. It's really simple. And as you know, Dr. Michelle is with one L. But I would love to have a conversation with you to help you on this journey to breaking through so that you can lead in your destiny and connect and reach the people that you are supposed to connect and reach. So until next time, thank you so much for joining us here on Be Bold Out Loud, and we will see you on the next time.